So I'm looking at it, and America know they're crazy. Democrats got the lowest approval rating that has ever been measured since the people have been taking measurements of approval ratings of the Republican and Democrat Party.
I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal.
The president was asked who his successor should be, and he mentioned you, what a fantastic job you're doing, he said, and in the next breath, he mentioned Marco Rubio. So, of course, the latest headline is Trump stokes Vance-Rubio competition. Are you rivals with Marco Rubio?
Not at all. Look, Marco's actually probably my best friend in the administration. We hang out and talk all the time. He's doing a really good job. And, of course, I'm doing the best job that I can. My attitude on this is, Martha, the president's not going to name a successor 110 days into his administration, nor should he. We have to do a good job for the American people. And if we do that, the politics will take care of themselves.
But now that you've been this close for 100 days, can you see yourself in that job?
I can see myself doing a really good job for the next 1,100 days, and then the American people can figure it out from there.
How long is this pause going to last, and how is the Trump administration recommending that organizations that rely on federal funding make payroll, pay their rent in the meantime?
It is a temporary pause, and the Office of Management and Budget is reviewing the federal funding that has been going out the door. Again, not for individual assistance, but for all of these other programs that I mentioned. I also spoke with the incoming director of OMB this morning, and he told me to tell all of you that the line to his office is open for other federal government agencies across the board, and if they feel that programs are necessary and in line with the president's agenda, then the Office of Management and Budget will review those policies. I think this is a very responsible measure. Again, the past 4 years, we've seen the Biden administration spend money like drunken sailors. It's a big reason we've had an inflation crisis in this country, and it's incumbent upon this administration to make sure, again, that every penny is being accounted for honestly.
Why impose this pause with so little notice? Why not give organizations more time to plan for the fact that they are about to lose, in some cases, really crucial federal funding, at least for a period of time?
There was notice. It was the executive order that the president signed. There's also a freeze on hiring, as you know, a regulatory freeze, and there's also a freeze on foreign aid. And this is, again, incredibly important to ensure that this administration is taking into consideration how hard the American people are working. And their tax dollars actually matter to this administration.
These goals are facts.
The witness will suspend. The committee will come to order. Capitol Police are asked to remove the individuals from the hearing room. Members of the audience are reminded disruptions will not be tolerated. Members of the audience are reminded disruptions will not be permitted while the committee conducts its business. Capitol Police are asked to remove the individuals from the hearing room. That was a made for C-SPAN.
Today, I'm deeply honored to reintroduce H.R. 40, historic legislation to establish a federal commission to examine the lasting legacy of slavery, to develop reparations proposals for descendants of enslaved Africans. It is an honor to inherit the privilege of carrying this bill forward. From Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee. In my last correspondence with her, she said, keep working on our priorities and never give up.
And folks, what we are experiencing right now is exactly what they envisioned for America. Right now, we are living in their vision for America. But this is not a vision that Americans want. We are living in a moment when the checks and balances upon which we have historically relied have begun to buckle. And we here know that when the checks and balances ultimately collapse, if Congress fails to do its part, or if the courts fail to do their part, or if both do their part, but the president defies them anyway, well, friends, that is called a constitutional crisis.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
Let me tell you
We don't care. Jerry.
And that is a crisis that will eventually impact everyone. Because it would mean that the rules that protect our fundamental rights and freedoms, that ensure each of us has a say about how our government works, will no longer matter. And if that happens, the one check, the one balance, the one power that must not fail is the voice of the people. And look, right now I know a lot of folks are wondering what's going to guide us through this moment. How are we all going to figure out how to chart the course? But that's not a reason to throw up our hands. In fact, please allow me, friends, to digress for a moment. Okay. It's kind of dark in here, but I'm asking for a show of hands. Who saw that video from a couple of weeks ago, the one of the elephants at the San Diego Zoo during the earthquake?
You serious?
Google it if you've not seen it. So that scene has been on my mind. Everybody's asking me what you've been thinking about these days. Well, so in the video, for those who haven't seen it, here those elephants were. And as soon as they felt the earth shaking beneath their feet, they got in a circle and stood next to each other to protect the most vulnerable. Think about it. What a powerful metaphor.
You can do whatever the fuck.
Because we know those who try to incite fear are most effective when they divide and conquer, when they separate the herd.
That's our approach on it. But hey, you do it the fuck.
When they try to make everyone think they are alone. But in the face of crisis, the lesson is don't scatter. The instinct has to be to immediately find and connect with each other, and to know that the circle will be strong.
So I'm looking at it, and America know they're crazy. Democrats got the lowest approval rating that has ever been measured since the people have been taking measurements of approval ratings of the Republican and Democrat Party. It's at 31%. They started taking the ratings back in 1992, and it was above that then. Lowest ever, 31%. And them suckers ain't learned a thing. You know why? Pay attention to this now. Give you some inside baseball. The people that run the Democratic Party and give the money to the Democratic Party are all a bunch of trust fund babies, and they're all a bunch of perverts.
No, I know you're not. If you come to this country illegally, you are going home. Simple as that. We do not have unlimited resources.
I think a lot of Americans
to take care of other people.
There's a hell of a lot of people, other than the black
Anna.
people who were brought here as slaves who came to this country illegally.
They're not the same as black people who were brought here against our will.
That's exactly what I just said. I said there is a lot of people
There's a big
than the black people.
There is a big difference.
That's exactly what I just said.
There's a big difference.
That's exactly what I just said.
Stop the cap.
We can act indignant. That's exactly what I just said.
Let me just share, Michael.
Other than the black
Anna and share, Michael.
as slaves, there are a lot of people from
Share,
many,
Michael. I think
many
you
countries
actually
that came here
misheard what
illegally.
I think you misheard what she said.
No, he purposely misheard it.
She said.
I purposely misheard. So now you're in my
Share,
brain?
Michael. Listen to me for just a second.
Is that where we're going?
You
Share,
think
Michael.
I would
Listen to me
say
for a
I who have
second.
advocated
Anna,
for black
please
people
stop.
my entire life would
Anna,
say something like that?
Anna,
Give me a
Because
damn
you've
break.
advocated for black
Anna,
people,
please
great.
stop.
Congratulations. Last time I checked, I'm black. You're not.
Okay, share, Michael.
That's right. I'm Latino, and my people are being racially profiled.
It is.
And
And do I have to remind you the history of my people?
Share,
Do
do I
you
have
want to
to
go there?
No, I don't.
Do you really
Okay,
want to go
we're
there?
gonna
and
go
know
break.
how
know the history.
Raul, we're going to go to
You know
break.
why?
Raul
Because
Reyes,
you
thank you
didn't
very
make
much
the
for joining us.
history.
Everybody else, hang tight.
History was not
We'll be right back.
erased when I was studying history like the president.
104% tariffs on China are not enough. I'm advocating 400%. I do business in China. They don't play by the rules. They've been in the WTO for decades. They have never abided by any of the rules they agreed to when they came in for decades. They cheat, they steal IP. I can't litigate in their courts. They take product, technology, they steal it, they manufacture it, and sell it back here. Never has an administration.
400% tariffs? What would that
I
look
want
like?
Xi on an airplane to Washington to level the playing field. It's just not about tariffs anymore. Nobody has taken on China yet, not the Europeans, no administration for decades. As someone who actually does business there, I've had enough. I speak for millions of Americans who have IP that have been stolen by the Chinese. I have nothing against the Chinese people. They brought great literacy, art, and tech to the world. The government cheats and steals, and finally, an administration, you may not like Trump, you may not like his style or his rhetoric, finally, an administration that puts up and says enough.
This story just in, this is out of Wisconsin now. You got 2 days, okay, and you got two different judges in different parts of the country who are seen as suspicious for questions on immigration, illegal immigration. The FBI arrested a Wisconsin judge, Hannah Dugan, out of Milwaukee for allegedly obstructing an ICE operation about a week ago. FBI Director Kash Patel writing this on X, quote, we believe Judge Dugan intentionally misdirected federal agents away from the subject to be arrested in her courthouse. Eduardo Flores Ruiz allowing the subject, an illegal alien, to evade arrest. Thankfully, our agents chased down the perp on foot, and he's been in custody since. But the judge's obstruction created increased danger to the public. We will have more to share soon, end quote. We'll wait on more on that. You might remember last hour we talked about a judge in New Mexico, so we'll see what comes of this momentarily.
My show had value, and that, I'm sorry, that what I was doing had value. And in the end, I'm sorry, I try not to cry on TV. And I think this is kind of like being on TV, so I apologize. And that it mattered. I see Karen is there, and she's been texting me as well. And so what I will just say is that in the end, thank you. Where I land is that the moment of guilt that I felt, that I went hard on so many issues, whether it was the Black Lives Matter issues of a young baby or a mom or a dad that was killed, or when we opened up people's eyes to the fact that Asian Americans were being targeted and not just Black folks, or went hard for immigrants who've done nothing but come to this country like my parents did and try to make a life. And
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
Let me tell you.
We don't care.
Jerry
offended them, or whether we've talked about what the president is doing that is subversive to the Constitution, that is injurious to our liberty, defending books that people find inconvenient, that Nicole Hannah-Jones put into our spirit, that we need to understand 1619 as the real founding of this country, whether it's talking about any of these issues, and yes, whether it's talking about Gaza and the fact that we as the American people have a right to object, to little babies being bombed. And where I come down on that is I'm not sorry. I am not sorry that I stood up for those things, because those things are of God.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
Let me tell you
We don't care.
Jerry.
And you know, I'm a church girl too, and those are the things that I was taught were of God. And so I'm not sorry. I'm just proud of my show.
So I'm looking at it, and America know they're crazy. Democrats got the lowest approval rating that has ever been measured since the people have been taking measurements of approval ratings of the Republican and Democrat Party. It's at 31%. They started taking the ratings back in 1992, and it was above that then. Lowest ever, 31%. And them suckers ain't learned a thing. You know why? Pay attention to this now. Give you some inside baseball. The people that run the Democratic Party and give the money to the Democratic Party are all a bunch of trust fund babies, and they're all a bunch of perverts.
More people inventing useful things, like Mr. Bobby Yashimura, who wins our Max Headroom Product of the Month award for coming up with a little attachment you plug into your TV, and it warns you that the commercial break is coming by automatically switching off your set for 5 seconds. And here to demonstrate it for us is Mr. Ashimura himself.